TV Review Diaries. Today we want to look at a really interesting product, and that is the Pro-Ject Phono Box S3B. So the S3B is a product that comes in at £349. So respectively speaking, in high fidelity terms, it's a relatively entry level phono stage. However, what makes this quite an interesting product is the fact that it uses true balanced connections. And as you'd expect at that price point, the question we get asked a lot is, is it any good? Is it really worth the money? And things like that. And really, so what we want to look at this video is pretty much what we feel about it, the sound, and how we feel about the balanced connection technology the Pro-Ject are currently using. So for anyone that's unfamiliar, Pro-Ject released a true balanced connection technology. They use it now in products such as the X2B turntable, which is a balanced turntable, and of course released products such as the S3B here to go with that. But the really interesting thing about it is that Pro-Ject have developed cables that mean that you can use those cables and this phono stage to create a balanced connection. So many people do ask us what is the benefit of that balanced connection, and really it's all about trying to get a better connection between your turntable and the phono stage. And the challenge between that connection is normally noise. It can pick up a lot of noise, and the idea behind the balance technology is to reduce that noise. By reducing that noise, what that does sonically means more of the music comes out. That means much greater detail, much better dynamics, more musicality, instruments and vocals will come out much clearer, all those little details will be much better. And that's what the idea behind this is creating a much quieter sound, which obviously then lets your music essentially really come to life. So the S3B is a really well thought out product. As you can see on the front, you have your controls here on the front, so your settings can be adjusted. It's not fiddly where you're trying to change things underneath with tiny pins and things. It's all done from the front panel. It's a really nicely made product. It's a metal chassis. This is the black finish. It also comes in silver, and it's just a really nicely thought out product. It's MMMC compatible, so it's quite future proof. So if you do decide you want to, say, move into an MC cartridge, obviously this can be adjusted for that. If you need to maybe downgrade, for example, in an MM, this can still work. As you see in the front, you have obviously your load for ohms. You have your gain settings, obviously input, whether you want to run XLR or the RCA, and obviously a subsonic mode as well as your standby button here on the side. If we flip around to the back, you see here obviously you have your ground or your earth binding post. You have your single-ended connections here, and these are the balanced connections that we've been talking about. And as I say, the idea behind the balanced connection, obviously as you can see, it's a much larger connection. It uses more cabling, and that helps to reduce that noise. By reducing that noise, as I mentioned, that really lets your music come alive. It's a much more solid connection as well. So obviously, essentially in those junctions where products are connected, it's a much more solid connection that obviously helps to make sure that everything flows better, and that means that you're not really having any negative impact to your signal path essentially. So yeah, sonically speaking, there is definitely a noticeable difference when you move to the balanced connections. We naturally tried a product this with the single-ended, the RCA option, like most phono stages at this price point. Still very good, but certainly when you move into the balanced connection, it's a step up. So it's a really interesting product, this, because obviously firstly you can just go straight into that balanced upgrade, but if you even want to start, you can start single-ended here and add the balanced connections later. So that'll give you that step up, and then of course you can change your cartridges. You can move up into obviously more expensive phono stages, etc. So no, as you know, we are definitely here a massive difference. As I say, it's a massive increase in dynamics. It's probably the most noticeable thing. But yeah, there is that drop in the noise floor that lets your detail come out a lot more, and the bass is punchier. Obviously the mids are sweeter, but really, yeah, those vocals, those instruments, anything like that, It gets much better. The sound staging is better. You're just really getting improvement across the whole scale. But yeah, dynamics for us was the key difference we heard when we moved into the balance situation. So yeah, I think an answer really to most questions we get: is it worth the money? Absolutely. Are the balance connections worth considering? Absolutely. For its price, there's really no negatives to be said about it. As I say, it can be upgraded slowly, or you can jump right into the balance connections. As I mentioned before, there's not really any negatives to this Phono stage. At 349, it's somewhat of a bargain, really. It's just a really well thought out product. The true balance connections that are coming out from product are really, really clever, very innovative, and I think maybe we'll see more of those in the future. As I mentioned, if you pair it up with, say, a product such as the X2B turntable, it's sublime. So yeah, I would really, really recommend coming in, having a look, having a listen, whether it be to the likes of this little Phono stage or even the X2B turntable. Very, very worthwhile. The balance connections are very, very interesting. And obviously this is an exceptionally quick overview, and if you want to know more about the balance technology, more about the different settings and everything else, please do always feel free to give us a call. We can go much more in depth with you. And yeah, if you want to call in and hear any of the products, you're always welcome to do so. I hope you enjoyed this brief overview video of the Pro-Ject Phono Box S3B, and I hope to see you guys soon.